scan this QR code. I will now open the slide. Okay. Okay, if you see in UKM Folio, there are 3 phases in our class, in class activity. Before class, during class, and after class. Actually, this is to make your learning become effective. So remember last week, we reviewed the formula to do revision, which is within 24 hours revision, so that the information will be retained longer. So any of you have tried to at least browse again your learning materials within 24 hours? Any of you do that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Just allocate 10 minutes is enough. For example, for today class, before 24 hours, before 4 p.m. tomorrow, just browse back the slides that we go through today. So it will help you to retain the information that you learn in the class. Okay, and that's also why we have homework in our class, so that we hope that you will remember again what we have learned in our class. Okay. Okay, I'm really appreciate. I'm really happy that the submission for all the for groups that submit their homework in UKM Folio, and I picked this one from group EHA, which is the member of this group, Darshini, Nurul, Ishfalila, Nur Shamimi, sorry, Muhammad Adam Haikal, and Muhammad Hafizul Fawaz. Are you there? All of the members?
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, tell your friend. You share with me, right? The homework. So any of the member of the groups, tell your friend which OS that your group has selected. Okay, any member of the group?
Okay, so our group, we have choose the Linux OS. So because there are more advantage other than their disadvantage compared to Windows.
So can you give me examples? What are the advantage? Maybe one advantage.
For what we have discussed, the security for Linux is stronger than Windows. There are more actually.
So your group chose Linux, right?
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, that's good. Okay. So if you find more information, there are many benefits from using Linux. Thank you very much, Group AHA. Okay, now I open to other groups. Okay. Okay. What are the causes for this error? You have discussed in your group. So any group want to share the discussion, the result of the discussion? Or I should call your name. Any group volunteer? What are the causes for this error?
Call your name.
Alright. I just call your name. Okay. Maybe the last. Muhammad Akil. Do you have idea what are the causes for this error? Are you there, Muhammad Akil? Muhammad Akil. Where is Muhammad Akil? Ada tak ni? Okey lah. Anis Shakila.
Check chat, he's there.
Okay, maybe I want to hear you have problem with microphone?
His mic not function.
Oh, okay. Okay, anyone please? There are 200 from the class. Maybe Anis Shakila, you want to try? Oh, and anyone? Kamal Karazi.
Because the processor is incompatible with the software.
Usually, it's because you're trying to run a 64-bit program.
Okay. You like, So it means that the installation package is 64-bit, but the processor type is
32-bit.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Okay. Sometimes sometimes you don't realize that you download the wrong installation package. For example, here actually it happened in my computer. My computer is 32 bits, the old computer, and I try to install 64-bit. Okay, so it's not supported by this processor because the processor for the 64-bit, the software for 64 bits contains a lot more functions compared to processor with 32 bits. Okay, the ISA, the instruction set architecture for 64 bits must be, there are more function than 32 bit. Okay, good. I would like to congratulate all of you that have done your homework. So I will proceed. Okay, from the previous lecture, we know that the software part is divided into two spaces. Okay, user space and the kernel space. So user space and the kernel space. The application program for here
Doctor, your mic is muted.
Okay, thank you. I didn't realize that. So this one, okay. So we continue again. Okay. So application program like Roblox. So any of you play Roblox game?
Just like the Lego one, isn't it?
2 years ago.
Play Minecraft.
Is it Tetris?
Because my daughter play this game.
Yes, I know that game.
Doctor, get your daughter out of that game.
Why? Why?
The community is bad.
Really? Oh, I don't know about that, but she asked me to buy more Robux for her birthday.
Oh no, don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do
No.
that.
No,
One
don't-
100
don't-
ringgit.
don't just
That's-
don't do
that's-
that.
Robots is dangerous.
Should I buy the Robux for my daughter?
Not right. The robot. No.
Not very good, right? I don't know about that.
It's a good game, but the community is too toxic.
What do you mean by that?
We learn swear words and
It's a program. This Roblox is a game making community, and the game makers are good. You can learn a lot from them, but the community is crowded with kids, and a lot of them are rich or something, and they are like very bratty, spoiled, and something.
Oh,
They like to
okay.
say bad words and stuff.
My brother used to be in that community, so I had to pull him out real fast.
Oh, so your brother follow your advice.
Used to play Roblox, so I just introduced him another game and got him out of Roblox.
So what are the games?
There's a lot of games in there because it's a game making community, so everyone is creative in there. There's a lot of copied games and such, but it's a good community as long as you get in touch with the good people lah.
I should monitor, right? My daughter.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for your advice. That's good. Okay. So the application program, for example, the games that you play and the application that you use for your learning here, for example, Microsoft Words to do the assignments and browser. So these reside in the user space, okay, in the user space. And the execution of the programs, when you execute, you double click all these programs. It means that you execute the program will be only in the user space. Okay. So my question is, how the execution of this program are managed by the OS? The OS is here in the kernel space. So how the execution of these programs are managed by the OS, which is resides in the kernel space. So therefore, in our class today, we learn the sixth topic, which is process management, which is the heart of the computer, of the computing system, of the operating system. So it is the important component in the operating system. Okay. So as the head of the OS, process management manages the main function of the OS, which is the execution of the program. So therefore, the first topic for the subtopic will be how the process management play its roles in loading and execute a program. Okay. Next, we look at what is process. Okay, what is a program in execution? What we call that things, and how a computer tracks the execution. And then we move on to look at the state of the process. There are 5 states of the process. And lastly, we look at how process management handle multiple processes with the use of scheduler. Okay, so we look at why a scheduler is needed in the modern computer system. Now we look at how the process management play its role in loading and execute a program, which is our first subtopic. Okay, in loading and execute a program, there are hardware parts of the computer system that will be utilized, which is, as we can see here, we have learned before this. The first one is CPU, the second one is RAM, the third one is hard disk, and the fourth one is input, output. So these are the hardware part of the computer system. So my question is how the components, these components, the hardware part, are utilized in loading and executing. Okay. So you still remember this question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which lab?
Lab 1.
Lab
Lab 2.
Lab 2.
Lab 2.
Lab 2.
Okay, lab 2 is when you start to learn Linux. So when you're doing lab, do you learn something?
Yes.
Yes.
I hope you learn something when you are doing the lab task. Okay, in the lab task, you has write a code named hello.world.cpp, and then you compile the code this is the instruction, the commands to compile the code, which is you use G++, and then you build the code. This is the original file, and this is the results, the execution file. Okay. So my question is, what file has been created and where is the location of the file? Anyone?
Hello world.cpp is the file that has been created, and the location is inside task 4 based on the statement here.
Okay. So in folder task 4, right? Okay. So do you give any name here? What is the output name that you give in your lab assignments? You still remember?
I love Linux.
Output name?
The
Yeah,
output name is
I-
Hello World.
Just hello world, I think.
Hello
A,
World.
just a dot out or something like that.
Okay.
Any easier input.
Okay, some use A the out. Anyone maybe they what hello world the out. Is it correct?
Yes.
And mereka yang buat I love Linux. Maybe. Okay. So this is the output name. So the file name is the hello world.cpp. This one, it should be .aout. And like your friend said, what is the location? The location is in folder task 4. So in which components in the hardware? This folder. I said it just before CPU, RAM, hard disk, I/O. So what is the location for this folder? In your?
Doctor, can you please repeat the question?
Okay. So my question is, what file has been created? Okay, that has been answered. So where is the location of the file? Which is this file. Is it in CPU? Is it in hard disk? Is it in RAM? When you build it, where you build, where is the location? It's not run
Hard
yet.
disk
Just
or
build.
disk.
Okay, good. So where you build the file, you save in hard disk, and then when you build the file, the maybe you give the name a.out. So a.out file will be the location for a.out will be in your hard disk. Okay. Okay, good. So the execution file. So when you compile, when you build, it will make a new file, which is an execution file. So this file is still located in your hard disk because you just build it, you not run it yet. Okay. So next, then you run the program. Okay, still remember what is the command to run?
Dot backslash
The backslash and the output name.
Okay, good. To run this dot backslash and then the name of the file, maybe a.out. Okay, and then you run. When you run the program, what happens is that the loading will occur, which is to load the user programs for the hard disk to the user main memory.
Doctor, excuse me.
Yes.
To run the file, we have to type // the file name a.out or just /a.out.
Sorry, what is your question again?
To run the file, do we have to like include the file name like /a.out or what? Never mind.
Oh, just like that. Is it your question?
It's just like that, right? /a.out.
Okay. So which one is correct?
Bottom one.
Bottom one. Okay. So you can try in your Linux environment if you open it. Okay. The command is this one, dot and backslash, and the name of the execution file. Okay. So is the for Java is still for Java, what is the Java, right? And the name of the file. Is it correct? For the building compilation, Java. Or you just use editor, you don't know the command.
I just
Okay,
press
it's okay then. Hmm?
I just press run button.
Okay. Okay, maybe after this you can try. For Java, there are also some command to run it. I don't remember what is the command, but I think something like that. If you want to Java and the file name, and then if you want to others, you have compile it, you have C there. Okay. When you run the programs, okay, what happened is that this is in your hard disk. So when you enter this, what is happening inside your computer is that the A.out program is actually load from here to the RAM. Okay, so there is a location here. So this is the location for that user's main memory. Okay, for that specific program. So this action, we call it as loading. So you get the idea for loading now?
Yes.
Yeah, so when you sometimes when you open an application or software, there is some word set loading, right? So actually the loading means that the programs, which is the execution program, is being loaded from the hard disk into your RAM. So if the program is big, the size, so it will take longer time to do that. Okay. So this is a quick exercise. Just I want to do it about 2 or 3 minutes only. Okay. I would like in groups. If something like this important, I would like to have some exercise. Okay, which some concept that I would like the students really get the main idea. At that point, I really want the students to do some discussion and do some sorry, copy take one. So I share in the group. So this one, I would like to, or I would like you to do it in groups. Okay. So this is Padlet, where you can share your answers, your idea here. So what you can do is that, yeah, hi. You can type the answer there. But I would like it to be in group. Okay. I think all of you has WhatsApp group for your discussion, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Just make a quick one. The question is, this is the question. Okay. These are the steps. Okay. In load and execute a program. Okay. The first, this is not in the right order. The task here is to discuss in 2 minutes with your group members. What is the first order? You don't have to write all the words here. You just write the short form here, which is if you choose this one to be the number 1, you just start input output. Okay. For example, just I think I have. Okay. So what you can do, for example, this is group AHA, testing. So your group said, okay, number one should be input output, followed by CPU, followed by memory, followed by scheduler. Okay, so this is examples. Can you do that now? I will open again the one. Okay, you just discuss which one is the first steps in order your computer to load and execute a program. Okay. So I will also copy paste this one here so that also saya. Okay. Boleh eh?
Okay.
Okay. 2 minit. Okay. Give me a complete one. Okay. First, I input output, for example. What is the second one? What is the third one? You can make number if you want. Number 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is BBQ. So any question about this one? Is it okay?
Okay.
Okay, good.
Okay, Doktor.
Okay, soalan ke? Tak ada eh? Okay, it's already 2 minutes. Let us discuss now. So the good try everyone. So I can see that every group try to give your answers. Okay. So I just pick one which has the right order. Okay. Let me check. Okay. For example, this group. Okay. The answer for example by group 1A. So the first action, the first step for load and memory is to provide location in main memory for forget and data. That will be the first one, memory, same like this, memory. Okay. Most of you get the right answers, which is to provide location in main memory, forget and data. Okay, when you have provide the location, the next steps, like we done just now, is that we try to run the program ./a.out. So when we do that, it's actually on that time it will provide the location, and the second steps it will get the program, load the program from the permanent location, which is the hard disk, to the main memory, the RAM. So what happens next is to provide time for CPU to execute the program. Okay, so this is after you get the program, the execution file in the RAM, then the CPU can execute the program. And during the execution, maybe the programs need to have access to the input output. So that's come the fourth step, which is it will provide the access to input output facilities when need by the program. Okay, so any question about this one? The four main steps. Okay, I hope it's okay. Thank you all for contributing for the exercise just now. So where you discuss and when you are typing some things, it's very good during class, okay? Because the information there, you will easily get the main idea, which is in loading and execute a program, there are four main steps to include the loading part and also the execution part. Okay, so I hope you get the main idea there. For loading and executing, the first step is to provide location, and then the second step to get the program from the hard disk into the RAM, and then the execution begins. The CPU can execute the program based on the allocated time. And lastly, if the CPU needs to have access to the printer, to the keyboard, or any input-output facilities, it will be done during the execution. So that is about the load and execute that happen when you double click and enter the program. So what is actually a program in execution? What we call it, and how this execution can be tracked in your computer. Okay. So we move on to our second subtopic, which is what is program in execution? The program in execution, we call it as process. Okay. So okay, I would like to have my both friend here. So what is programming execution? Programming execution, we call it as process. So this is the term used in your computer. Okay, you can open now your computer. Try to open the resource monitor. If you still remember, last week, we have opened our computer. So for example, here, I would like to show to you. So this is my calculator. Okay, you can try in your computer. Try to open any programs. Before you open first your resource monitor. Have you opened your resource monitor? Try to do that. Dah buka dah?
Dah.
Okay. So try to see your resource monitor. You can see that actually there are a lot of processes. So the term used here is processes. Okay, not programs. So it means that when it said processes, it means that the program has been executed by the users. Okay, or by the OS itself. So processes means the program in execution. So you can see there are some details about this program. The first thing is the execution file. For the one that we do in the lab, the file name is .out. But this one in Windows environment, the execution file extension is .exe. So this is the processes, which is the term used in your computer. Okay. So when you computer any programs in your computer, for example, if I open Roblox here, okay. So what happened in your resource monitor? The game will be appear. Let me check. Can you find Roblox? So many games, so many processes is running inside my computer now. What is maybe I just miss it? I don't know. Can you see the application that you open in your computer? Is it appear?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know why. Just now I test, it's appear here. Maybe located. Never mind. Teams. Okay. For example, teams that are running now. Is here, and this is the PID. This is the description of it, Microsoft Teams, and the status is running. So every programs that you run, they must be registered here in your resource monitor, where you can see that the program's name is processes. Okay. All right. So just close this one. We go back to our slides. So what is the, what do you think, this one? When you compile the file, when you build the file, what will be created here? Here, what is that? Anyone want to try? What is the output here? When GCC is like G++, G++ is for C++. This one is for C language. Okay, for your information, this question has appeared in the final exam questions. This one, what are the final exams? What are the questions in the final exams? So try to think, what is the answer here? Anyone? What do you think it will be?
Hello.c, I guess.
Yes?
Hello.
This is A the out. What has been stored in your hard disk when you build the program? This is to build. Just now, still remember our example just now? We try to build I love Linux. If you give that name, and then when you compile and then you build, the created file will be located in your hard disk. So what is the name of that created file here? Anyone?
Hello.c.
Okay, good try. Hello.c is still here.
E.out.
What do you think? Hello world is the text, the string inside your program. That's right, it's okay for me. Some say hello world, some say hello.c.
E.out.
A.out. Okay.
Hello.out.
Hello.out.
Hello world.
Hello world. Cuba lagi. Okay. One of these is correct. Okay.
Oh.
So this is the tips actually. The hint is given here. Okay. It means that the users that run this program, it gave a different names for the output file. The results for the output file. For the Java, if you remember, if you compile that file and you run the file, the name of the file that you run is the same file. If you want to check, please check the folder in your Java folder. You can find that there is one file that has been created when you run your program. That program, because the program is the format in the machine language. Okay, so try after this to open your folder that you use for your Java class. You can see that there is additional file has been created when you build your file. So that called execution file. So here the answer is, this is the executable file, because the name here is A. So the file actually the users give the file name is A.out. Okay. If there is no hint here, any of these might be correct. Okay. Any of these must be correct, but please remember the extension. If this is for C or C++, the extension file for execution file is .out. So what is happened? What is here? Okay, program in execution is called process. So you execute a program, you run it using this command. So what will this be? Very straightforward. This will become, any guess? This will become,
Output.
yes, it is the output, but what
Or
we call it?
process.
Yes. Okay. After the execution finish, you will get the output, but we call the program in execution as a process.
Process.
Okay, good. So this is the Just now, I open calculator, and then you in your computer, you can open another apps, okay? Just to show that there that you can open many application at the same time. Okay, when you open more than one apps, the question is how OS monitors all these processes. Okay, if there is more than one process. So in order to do that, OS monitor all the processes using block data, and this block data we call it as process control block. BLCK. Sorry for that. BLOCK, or in the short form PCB. Okay. So this PCB process control block is the kernel data structure, which is something related to the kernel that represents the what? Represent a process. Okay. So like you as a student, you have metric numbers and so on. In the process also, they need some information to be stored for each process. Okay. And one of the important information inside the block. Okay, this is the block we call it as PCB block. So one of the information here is identifier. So, or we call it as PID. You can find it when you use Linux. PID is one of the information that represent the process. Okay. For example, like you as a student, you have metric numbers, you have program names, some from computer science, some from IT. You have a year, first year, second year, home number, your offer letter. So all of this information are stored in the file, student file in our office in FTSM. Okay, so same like process. The process also have some information needed by the OS, so OS can keep track about that the executing of that program, of that process. So it has identifier, which is PID. It has state, okay, the current state of the process. For example, what is the current state of you now as a student? You are learning, right? So as a process, there are also many states, but there are 5 main states. Okay. The priority, is it high, low? Program counter, you have learned about re-register before this. Okay, it holds the address of the next instructions in the program to be executed. So it's very important. So the CPU will know which instruction should be executed. Memory pointers, where is the location of the memory in the RAM, the context data or the related data needed by the processor while executing the process. Input output, if it involves any request with the printer, so any video camera or anything, so they might include the status. And lastly, the accounting information. Okay, so for example, from the resource monitor just now, we can see the CPU level, the CPU, the memory. So this is also the information that we recorded in the PCB program process control block. Okay. So any questions so far? You want to have the break now or later?
Doctor,
Yes.
I just want to ask is task manager a PCB diagram?
Sorry?
Is the task manager in our computer, is it considered as the PCB diagram?
Okay. So the PCB is just like the formal name for the file. For example, like you as a student, you have a file, student file, right? So for the process in the computer, they also has file, but there's file we call it as process control block. The analogy, I mean the analogy. So some of the information there, you can find from the task manager. For example, you can find from the task manager the okay, for example here in the resource monitor, you can find some of the information in the PCB. For example here, what PID, right?
Yeah.
PID. You can find the statistics. What else? Here, the status. Okay.
Doctor, actually what is threads?
Okay, thread. Thread is a mini part, mini execution unit of the processes of the process. Okay. So there in the notes in UKM folio, the notes for process management. This is the activity notes. If you want to find another information about this topic, you need to also read that notes. For that notes, there is a video about threads. So I think I have explained a little bit about threads in computer performance. Any of you still remember computer performance?
Yes.
Yeah, when I said that, multi-threading.
Yes, washing machine.
Oh, washing machine, yes. Washing machine, dryer.
You still remember that washing machine, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then you find this execution, right? So thread means that for one process, it has a mini sub unit of the process so that it can be divided into a number of multi-core. Okay. So it means that you can see that threads here, the thin thread here. It means that for that process, this is one process, right? So in this process, it has 13 threads. So it means that 1 until 30 threads is the sub unit of the main thread. And then because your computer supports multi-programming or multi-core, so it can divide the threads into this number of cores. Okay, so it will increase the performance of the computer. You get it?
Get it, doctor.
Okay, good. So if you want to get more information about thread, you can go to that notes in the UKM folio, and in that notes there is video, the link for that video. You can watch further that video. Okay, good question. Okay, so you want to have a break or I can proceed?
Can we take a break first, doctor?
Okay, can.
Solat jap.
Okay. Okay, 10 minutes break.
Okay, Doctor. Doctor, can you go to the slide 12, please?
Like what?
Slide 12.
12?
Ten minute doctor.
10 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Okay.
Doctor, about the quiz in UCAM folio, are we going to conduct at 5:20?
Yes. Now it's what the time now? Okay, don't worry about that. That is the mock quiz. Mock means that's not the real quiz, but the quiz just to give exercise for this topic, process management, and also to see how you can done the quiz inside you can follow. So
Okay, doctor.
for our quiz, um, I'm thinking because I said to you right, this week will be quiz, right? So maybe I will be discuss about that in the end of this lecture. The time for the quiz. Okay.
Doctor,
Yes.
is it the real quiz will be in MCQ or it's just like our tutorial 1 and 2 subjective?
It will be like what you will do today in you can follow. Multiple choice question. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you really want to do subjective questions?
Multiple.
No.
Multiple choice.
Okay.
Doctor, can you share the QR code again?
Yes.
Thank you, Doctor.
Welcome.
Hello, Professor. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, my internet is not good because it's raining now.
Okay.
Maybe yes. Maybe the quiz. I'm not sure I can join or not.
Okay, we try first. Okay.
Okay.
See how it goes. Okay, can we continue our class?
I'm here.
Okay. Okay, just now, before we stop for the break, we look at the third subtopic, which is the process states. And the process states is, you can find the value for process states in your resource monitor, which is in the status. So status here is actually the state. As you can find, the state here is running. So it is one of the states for your process, but there are four other states. Okay. So because we have limited time today, as we would like to have more quiz, we just go through this together. Okay, we have five states for our process. Okay, so these are the diagram of the information of the state. So let us go through together. What is this? All with me, right? Senyap je. Dah ada ya?
Yes.
Ada.
Yes, doctor.
Ada di sini, doktor.
Ada. Okay. So what are the five states? The five states is new, ready, running, block, and halted or exit. Okay. So what is new? Program is admitted by the high level scheduler, but is not yet ready to be executed. Okay. So when you double click a program to run, it will become new. So the OS will initialize the process and moving it to the ready state. When the when this completed, the state will become ready. So ready is the process is ready to execute and is awaiting access to the processor. Okay. Ready to execute. Running, the process is being executed by the processor. Block, the process is suspended from the execution, waiting for some system resource, such as input output. And lastly, the process exit, the process has terminated and will be destroyed by the OS. For example, if you run kill 9 and then the name of your PID, this in your Linux command, this will destroy your program. Okay, how about the transition? The transition that is admit, dispatch, event release, timeout, and event wait. So now, how to draw the diagram? So what do you think? What is the first state here?
New.
New.
Okay,
New.
good. When a process is created, it means that this is your program, and then you run your program a.out, and when you run your program, the process is created and it will become new. From new to
Ready.
Ready.
yes, it will be ready. So it will put all the information, so it will complete PCB. If all the information in PCB completed, it will become ready. So the transition here will become admit. Okay. So it will be admitted into the OS with the new status which is ready. So what's next?
Running.
Running.
Yeah.
Running.
Running. So what is the state? Sorry. The state is running. From here to here, what is the transition?
Executed, I guess.
Transition.
Dispatch
Okay, good.
or release? Which one sounds right? Is dispatch.
It will dispatch to be run by the CPU. Okay, then something happen here. It will be like block or what is it?
Login.
Block. Right,
Block.
block. Okay, what is the transition here? From running to block. What do you think?
Suspend.
Suspended.
This one. Event occurs, timeout, release, or event wait. Be here. So block mean that the when you run the process, it might need access to the input output. Okay. For example, printer. Okay, when you want to create printing using your Microsoft Word, actually using the printer is take a lot of time, but your CPU is very fast. So in order to make sure that your CPU is not become idle, waiting for the printing become finished. So what happens is that it will block that process for a while, waiting for the printer to be ready. So this one will become event wait. Okay. So that process that need the access to the printer, waiting for the printer to become ready. So the transition will be event wait. So what do you think? When the printer is ready, so the process can be get back here to be ready. What is the transition there? Will be
When occurs.
Event
yes,
occur.
Event
Release.
occurred.
right. So the transition here is event occurs. So what else? Okay, this one. After finish, you click X. So this will be
Onset or exit.
exit, right?
Exit.
But what is the transition here?
Release maybe.
Yeah, release. Um,
Release.
what else?
Time out.
Time out. Okay. What is time out? The time out means that there are many process A, process B, process C that need to be executed by the CPU. So if you want to wait this process finish, there are many techniques for scheduling. So timeout is the special technique when there is allocation time for each of the programs. For example, this is for how many milliseconds, this is for how many milliseconds. So when the slice of time is finished for A, it will go back to be ready. So when that happens, the transition will be timeout. Okay, so our diagram now is finished. So you get the 5 main steps here. Any question about this?
No.
No? Okay, good. So I would like to continue. So finish about states. Okay, this is just a few just santai part. I just this any of you have tried to read this book, Seven Covey's book?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. So actually, this book is suggested by our last VC, the previous VC, which is Prof. Hamdi. Now he is going to UM. So when we have a meeting before this, and he suggested that try to read this book because this book is very good. So inside this book, I have buy this book, okay, from MPH. So inside this book, there is time management, which is I really like to share with you that you need actually to minimize this one, which is important and also urgent. For example, you have deadline to submit your assignments, and the assignments, the submission date is tomorrow. So it's become important and urgent for you to do that as before the submission date. So the strategy, you want to avoid not so many tasks here. The strategy is that you plan your work well. Okay. So what you can do is try to plan when you can finish your assignments. Don't wait until it become near to the deadlines. Okay. Because you will become stressed at this time. So the things that I want to share here, please plan your assignments so that it is important, but you still have time to do it. And please avoid these three. Sometimes you cannot avoid, but you can put the priority. Okay. So the VC said, Prof. Hamdi said that the time is community. So you must decide where you want to invest your time. It's very good book. Try to buy this book and read this book. Okay, as a humans, you have many tasks, right? So you need to make a schedule in addition to your class schedules. Any of you make schedules for yourself? Do you make schedules where when to learn?
No.
We just go with the flow.
You cannot do like that. Okay. When I did my PhD, I went to a course. The instructor, the facilitator for that workshop said that if find the time that your brain can be really focused. For example, you have exam next week. And early in the morning, you can read, you can understand very fast at that time. So please block that time to do revision or to understand something which is very, very complex. For example, in programming, something is you read hard for you to understand. Block that time to put your focus to study. So you need to strategize, okay? So that is human. Human need to do schedule to become effective. Otherwise, you will become in this first quadrant. Okay, urgent and important, and you have so many deadlines at the same time, so it will become stressful. So avoid that. Do a very good planning. So that is human. So how about computer? So this is our last topic, which is why a scheduler is needed in a modern computer system. So I know our quiz is start at 5:30. It's okay. After we finish this topic scheduling, we just go to the quiz because the quiz only have 4 questions. Okay, you can do it in within 2 minutes. Okay, we come to our last topic today. Why a scheduler is needed in a modern computer system? This is because there are more than one processes that need to be executed by the CPU. Okay, so that's why we need a scheduler. For example, here we have process A and process B. So which process that should be executed by your CPU and how long the CPU takes to execute the process. So you can look further in this oh my god in this YouTube to find more information about scheduler. Okay. Something wrong with my PowerPoint. I just proceed to talk about scheduler. So you have, for example, two process here, process A and process B. Okay. Why scheduling is become important in our computer system? Because our computer system support multi-programming. Multi-programming means that your computer can execute more than one programs. This is a modern computer, but in the traditional computer, it only support uni-programming. Only one programs can be run at one time, but not anymore. In our modern computers, you can run multiple programs at one time. So that's the need for scheduler. In order to do that, they really need a scheduler. Okay. So in order to do the scheduler, I think I just need to close the program. Okay. In order to do the scheduler, there are two terms that you need to know. There are two types of queue, which is I just want to open back the PowerPoint. Sorry. Okay. Can I continue?
Yes, please.
Sure, doctor.
Yes, doctor.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So scheduler needs to for scheduling. So our computer needs two type of scheduler, which is long-term scheduler and short-term scheduler. Okay. For the long-term scheduler, is involve long-term queue. For the short-term scheduler, is involve short-term queue. Okay. So what is long-term queue? So any programs that you try to run, it will involve long-term scheduler first. Okay. Because there are so many programs, like I said before, your computer supports multi-programming. So you need to identify which programs should be submitted for processing. Okay. So when they have decided this from the long-term scheduler, so the decision from the long-term scheduler, a list of processes will go to the short-term scheduler. So the short-term scheduler is the scheduler, the nearest scheduler to the CPU. And we also call it as dispatcher. Okay, you still remember the transition between the ready into the running state is dispatch. So the one that dispatch the process from the ready to running, we call it as dispatcher. So dispatcher or short-term scheduler, it will dispatch the program to the CPU. So this is the role of the short-term scheduler to give fine-grained decision of which jobs to execute next. Okay. For example, which job actually gets to use the processor in the next time slot. Okay, this is another example for the long-term queue and the short-term queue. So the above here, this is the CPU, and this is the queue that contains ready process. Okay, so this one is actually the short-term queue, which is will be processed by the that give the decision which process should be run by the CPU. So in order to see the animation, you can go to this YouTube to see the animation, how actually the process are moving. Okay, so they give 5 ticks here. It means the allocation time is 5 ticks, 15 ticks, sorry, 15 ticks. So after 15 ticks, the process will be changed. So another process will be run by the CPU here. And this is the process table where it contains all the information for all the processes that is being executed by the CPU. So if you want to know more about this animation, it's very interesting. In my last class, I show it in the class, in the lecture room, but it's not very okay to do it in real time, the video. So I really recommend for you to watch this video to see the animation of the ready queue here and the interaction between the CPU. Okay. So there are two important techniques that you need to know because our quiz after this, most of the question is related to these categories, which is preemptive and non-preemptive. Okay, so the scheduler in the OS, some of them are based on the preemptive. Preemptive means that giving the power to interrupt the jobs. Okay, I just spell out the meaning of preemptive. Non-preemptive mean we have to wait the job to complete before we can do anything. Okay, so what does it means? Okay, this is the examples. I think from the examples you will know what does it means with non-preemptive dispatching. So examples for non-preemptive dispatching is first in, first out. For example, if you double click calculator, the calculator will be processed first, and then if it is finished, the second process will be next to be processed. Okay, that is first in, first out. The second process cannot interrupt, cannot interfere. Oh, you should stop now. I would like to be executed now. It cannot be because non-preemptive is not, there is no interruption. You just proceed as it is. If you first come, you will be executed first. So the second one is shorted job first. It means that if the time taken for that process is very is compared to other processors, it has the lowest time, so it will be processed first by the CPU. So the disadvantage is that it will take the longer jobs. Sometimes it will never be done because always the shortest job first will be executed. And lastly, the priority scheduling. We set the priority. Actually, you can set that in your Windows. You set the priority. The programs with the highest priority will be executed first. So any question here for the non-preemptive dispatching before I go to preemptive dispatching? No?
Doctor,
Yes?
I'm quite confused with the meaning longer jobs can be staff.
Okay. Okay, for examples, there are 3 jobs. Okay. One is 1 milliseconds, the second jobs need 10 milliseconds, and the third job need 20 milliseconds. So when this happen, this process will be executed first, right? Followed by this, followed by this. But before this process, this one can be processed, suddenly the users execute one more process, which is the time is lower than this, maybe 15. So this one will be processed. And then it's open another program, which is 5 milliseconds. And then another programs, which is 1 milliseconds. So what happened to this program? Staff mean is not be executed. Okay? Not being executed. Because there is always shortest job. Shorter jobs are coming before this job. Can you get that?
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, good. Okay, now we proceed to preemptive. So non-preemptive is means that you cannot interrupt the process. When you come first, for example, first in, first out, you come first, then you will be the first one to be executed, and the second one need to wait. Okay. So now we go to the preemptive. Preemptive means that it can be interrupted in a special way. Okay. So round robin is very interesting scheduling technique. You can look from this YouTube video to find more about round robin. So the concept of round robin is that each process is allocated a certain slice of CPU time. So for examples that I showed you before, for example, they have 5 milliseconds, 15, 15, 15. So all of this process, we get only 15 milliseconds. And after 15, if the process is finished with 15, so it will be exit. If it is not finished yet, for example, this process need 20 milliseconds. So this process will be back to the queue. So it only needs 5 more seconds to be completed the balance. So this process has to be back into the queue. So it means that all the processes we allocated a certain slice of CPU time. Okay. So lastly, the dynamic priority is based on the ratio of CPU time to total time of the process to total time process has been in the system. So it is based on the ratio, how long the process has been in the system. So if you the ratio is small, so you have the highest priority to be executed first. Okay. So how about Windows? How about Linux? So we can say that some operating system offers a combination of scheduling approaches. Okay. For example, Windows, they have used priority base, which is preemptive. Okay. The application with the highest priority will be executed first. So same like Linux, Linux also support preemptive. Preemptive. So it means that less of interruption. Because it lets the program to be run until it finishes. Okay, so that is the summary for the scheduler. So the summary for today is that we have learned so far is how we can load and execute a program. There are 4 steps just now. If you still remember, the 4 steps is to provide the location, get the CPU time, provide the location, in the memory. The second thing is to get the data, the loading part, and then the execution part, and the last one is to get the access to the input output. And then what is program in execution just now? Anyone? What we call it?
Process.
Yeah, good. So how was it tracked the execution? How it can be tracked, the process? They have special data structure, kernel data structure, and that data structure is called. Remember tak? PCB. What is PCB?
Process control block.
Yes, good. So
Okay.
this is how they can contract. So what are the 5 states?
New,
Ready.
New, ready,
Running.
running,
Block.
exit.
Block and exit.
Exit. Good. So what a scheduler is needed? Because we would like to support multi-programming. There are more than one programs need to be executed. Then there are 2 types just now, preemptive and non-preemptive. Non-preemptive, preemptive. What is the example of preemptive?
Windows.
Robin.
Linux.
No, I think round robin.
Round robin.
Kita tengok jap. Yeah, preemptive is like round robin. Non-preemptive was interesting. Okay, so we have only 10 minutes. Yes, any? Okay. So can you all go to UKM folio now? Okay, I give the time limit, right? So I need to extend the time limit first. Don't try again. Don't try now. Just need to extend. Okay. Is it possible to do quiz on Friday?
Yes, Dr.
What time?
All of you free? Do you have class on Friday?
How about the
Yes.
mock quiz?
No, Doctor.
Yes.
Which Friday, Doctor? Is it this Friday or next week?
This Friday.
Oh, okay.
I just want to know, in your schedule, do you have any schedule lab or tutorials on Friday afternoon?
Doctor.
Doctor, we have SIG activities.
SIG.
Oh, every Friday afternoon, right?
3 to 5.
Oh, okay. So in that case, maybe we do quiz in our class next week. Is it possible?
Okay, Doctor.
Okay.
Okay, I would like to extend the time here. Let me. Sebelum ni pernah ada quiz tak?
Dekat UKM folio ke Doctor? Pernah.
Is there any problem with the UKM folio quiz?
Oh no.
Yes. Sometimes.
Yes.
Internet
For
problem lah.
statistic quiz.
Yes.
Sometimes when I answer the question, then it become 504 error.
Oh, really? Okay, I need.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. I save now. Is it until 6 o'clock today? 10 minutes. Okay, just to do mock quiz. I need someone to. All of you can try it now. Let me save first. Okay, but I need a volunteer to share your screen. I want to see how it looks like in your computer. Any volunteer?
I already have it open actually.
Okay, you can share your screen. And others, please, do it now. Only 4 questions. I think 1 minute you can finish. 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, you can try now to do the quiz. How should I call you? Eileen, right? Eileen? Okay, right?
Doctor,
Yes.
I tried to answer all the quiz, but at question 3, then the screen turned into a summary of attempt. I can answer question number 4 and 5.
Oh,
I can't go back. I don't know why.
so you cannot try again, right?
No, cannot.
Okay.
So I just answer 1 until 3. 4 and 5, it says not yet answered. I don't know.
Oh, did you click something?
I think I'm not.
You just follow the. You don't do something else, right? Hmm. Okay, that is one of the problems. Suddenly, the quiz is stopped, right? Was stopped, so you cannot proceed, and you just get the results. Is it right? You cannot finish the quiz.
Doctor, I think because of the time limit that doctor
Doctor, I already submitted the quiz.
Okay. But the quiz is until 6. Anyone has submitted?
Yeah, me, doctor.
Okay,
Yes,
is it okay
me
for you? Okay, so some of you have problems, some. Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't know what happened to that you suddenly, maybe internet connection, I don't know.
Sorry, doctor.
Yes?
This quiz is not be allowed to modify our previous answer.
No.
Okay, I made a mistake, but now I found it. So, doctor, I submitted, but then like straight away come to the summary of the.
You have submitted?
Yeah, I submitted. Then straight away come to the summary of the previous attempt.
So, okay, Eileen, you is okay, right? You submitted all the questions, right?
I can submit.
Okay, you can submit. Okay, thank you. So, I just want to collect if there are problems. There is one just now. Said that you have problems. Suddenly, you cannot continue your quiz. Okay. So now, okay, thank you very much, Eileen, for sharing your screen. So now I would like to share my screen, what it looks like here. Okay.
Doctor,
Yes.
the real quiz will be held this Friday, right, doctor?
No. So because you have SIG, I don't want to interrupt your SIG activities. So I think we said, okay, we confirm now that the quiz will be during the class. Okay.
During the class.
So next week we might start with the quiz first. After
tutorial.
Yes, during the class. I mean on Tuesday during our lecture class.
Oh, okay, doctor, I understand.
Okay, on Tuesday from 4 to 6, we start our class with quiz first, and then we continue with the topics. Because we have 14 weeks actually to do that. So we are now in week 6. We still have more times for doing quiz during lecture. Okay, so I would like to see what is the result. Okay, when I click here, okay, attempts. I would like to see your answers. Where is your answers? Now, with attempts. Okay. So these are the results come in my computer. Okay. Let me take one. It's just to test, don't worry. Okay, so you get time taken 5 minutes, get this mark out of 10. Okay, so one until now only one have problems. Anyone of you still have problems?
Doctor.
I have the same problem, doctor.
The same problems, you mean? The quiz suddenly finish, is it?
Yes, the screen suddenly turned to the summary.
Oh, okay. So 2. I can see that 2 of you. Anyone? Anyone else?
Doctor, mine also.
So 3. Ada lagi?
Mine also.
4. Your computer is
problem.
okay, the internet?
Yes, yes.
Internet is okay or not?
Yes,
Yeah, the
okay.
one that have problems.
Okay.
Okay, doctor.
Internet okay je maksudnya?
Yes.
Tapi
Yes.
Right.
Rasanya kenapa What do you think the reasons? Okay, maybe in that case, I will make more than 1 attempts, maybe 2 attempts, maybe. Okay. So the quiz before this, is it 1 attempt or 2 attempts?
1.
1.
1.
Okay. So this is the result. As a lecturer, this is the result that I will get from you. Okay. So, okay, this one. Who is this? Sorry, just nak clarify. You guys, you have problems? Idina? Muhammad Kamarul? So the one that has problem, please PM me after this. Okay. Right, Muhammad Syakirin, next Suhaili, next Muhammad Kushairi. List the one that have problems. with the quiz today, please private message me. Is it okay?
Okay, madam.
Okay. Muhammad Rahimi, daripada sini. So you have problems. Ni kenapa ni Memang tak dapat jawab ke tak sempat jawab ni?
Dah submit tapi tak tahu je macam tak submit
Ramai ni. Nur Atira, Ikhwan, Raja Aiman. Okay, tak apa. So the one that have problems today, please DM me so we discuss together. Okay, I think that's all for today. Thank you very much for coming our class. So don't forget to ready for our quiz next week. We try, try to solve the problems this week. And hopefully the quiz next week will be run smoothly. And then as usual, this is a very simple one. You can search, you can find the information. I just want you to do some revision, which is there is state here is suspended. What is the means of suspended here? Okay, we have not learned so far this one. Is it block or what? Okay, just find more information for that. Okay, any last question before we end our class today?
What is the scope of the quiz?
Oh, for today quiz is only for mock. I mean, just for preparation for our real quiz. Oh, you want to know?
The last next week quiz.
So if you want to know the answers, we will discuss next week. Okay?
So, doctor, it's just an exercise. It's
Yeah,
not a
that
real
exercise.
quiz.
Not the real quiz. We call it mock quiz so that we will know your preparation for your real quiz next week. So the real quiz in our lecture class next week.
I
Yes?
already submitted.
Yes?
I already submitted just now and then I got the marks ready.
Saya tak dengar. Sorry, can you?
I already submitted just now, I think 5:59 and then I got the marks ready.
So what is your name?
Yugesh.
Oh, okay. Maybe I need to download again the file, the Excel file. Okay, maybe it takes time for you to submit, right? The system to submit your answers. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so it means that the system takes time. So, okay, after this, I need to wait for some times before I can view the results, download the results. Okay, thank you very much for your information.
Doctor?
Yes?
I mean the scope for next week quiz.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know the range.
Oh, okay, sorry for that. Yeah. This is our plan for the quiz. 15%. Okay, there will be another quiz, 15% for tutorial 3 and 4. And the total marks for the quiz is the average for quiz 1 and quiz 2, which is 15%. And this is for tutorial 5. Tutorial 5, there is no quiz, but there is a project presentation. Will be 15%. Is it clear?
Doktor, saya rasa maksud dia quiz next week masuk chapter apa?
Tutorial 1 and 2.
Okay.
And some question related to homework. It means that you don't have to read it's very good if you revise all the topics, but the it is really focused. The questions made for the quiz is from tutorial 1 and tutorial 2, but I might add some questions related to the homework to see that whether you do the homework or not. That may be 2 or 3 questions related to homework. Others all related to tutorial 1 and tutorial 2. If you do tutorial 1 and 2, inshallah you can do the quiz. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Doctor.
Okay, welcome. So, no more questions? Is it clear for our quiz next week?
Yes,
Yes,
Doctor.
Doctor.
Yes.
Okay.
How about the
Doctor.
lab, Doctor?
How about
Okay, for the lab, some of the students still have problems with Ubuntu. We try to settle up with the virtual private network to give you access to remotely to our computer in our lab. We try to find that solution first. After that settle, then we will let you know when the time for lab test. Okay. So you still have time to play around with Ubuntu. Is it okay?
Okay, Doctor.
Okay.
Doktor, yang homework
Hmm.
tadi tu kena group ataupun individu?
Group macam biasa. All homework but based on groups. I just want you to discuss. Yeah.
Alright, Doctor. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for all of you for coming this class today. Okay. Good luck for your
Okay,
quiz
Doctor.
tomorrow next week. See you again.
Thank you, Doctor.